Rainiris, I hope I pronounce it correctly. Palm Bay, Florida, the great WJNO, a beautiful area. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Mark, and it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, sir.
And anytime I hear you, I remember my dad sitting on the table speaking with me when I was a teenager, and Fidel Castro and the whole education system was trying to indoctrinate me. But anyway, I escaped finally when I was 32 years old back in 1994, and I floated in the ocean with my family, and I land in paradise. And it's a shame. And you nail any time, and I finally decided to make this goal to support you, and also to I don't think I'm gonna change the mind of this ignorant people in this beautiful country.
Rainiris, we're coming to a break. Would you do me a favor and hang on? I don't want to lose your call. I have a couple questions to ask you because of your fascinating background, okay? Don't hang up. We'll be right back.
Conservatism with passion. The Mark Levin Show. Call in now. 877-381-3811.
I'm actually going to have to reread the chapter in Men in Black written 7 years ago. It was published 7 years ago. It was probably written 8 years ago. On restoring the Constitution as applies to the courts. So, because now I'm interested in this again. All right. I want to get back to our fascinating caller, Rainiris. Now, Rainiris, you say you escaped from Cuba in 1994. Can you tell us, how you did that?
Well, it took me, yes, sir. Actually, took me 1 year. It took us 1 year and a half to fix the 1948 boat that we finally. It was our own boat, but we had to steal it from because nobody owns anything in Cuba but the government. Right. And we finally escaped from Cuba on a close day to today. We escaped in April 9, 1994, 10 p.m. We were 7, 2 little girls, and but it took. It's a long story. We floated in the ocean for 7 days with 7 nights, and we finally. This is a long story, but to make it the shortest.
How many were on the boat?
We were 7.
7.
We were 7. We were 5 adults and 2 little girls from one of my cousins. We were all relatives. Anyway,
well, now let me ask you a couple more questions. Now, 7 days and 7 nights. Did you have a motor on the boat? What type of boat?
7 days, yes. We have a very little motor from 1948, 1-cylinder diesel, but we had to. God put in a storm, and this, like it's April now, and the months of April, and the Caribbean get flooded with the last cold front from the United States, and get very rough and very stormy, and some tropical storm also come by. So I guess God put in kind of like a depression, and it was very rough. So basically, the Castro Coast Guard, they follow us for 12 hours, but they finally quit because they were afraid to die, and they maybe saw, well, we'll recover these people's bodies floating tomorrow. So anyway, we navigate to the west, northwest for 12 hours, 16 hours, and in order to keep the sea on the front of the small boat. This is an 18-foot boat, very small. And we're talking about maybe 15, 25 feet waves. And after a while, we were able to I would say 16 hours, we were able to correct the route and start heading north toward the United States, toward Florida. And we finally land.
All right, let me ask you this. So you see the coastline. And what was going through your mind when you could see the United States coastline?
I tell you, it was amazing. Well, actually, we were intersected by the American Coast Guard, and it was amazing. I mean, the encounter at that time, it was illegal for the Cubans to be picked up in the ocean. What I can tell you, after being floating in the ocean and being afraid of being captured back by Castro people is, I mean, the experience, it was, there are no words in the English language to describe the emotions and the peace, actually, after being in American soil.
I want more people to hear you because, I mean, you and your 6 compatriots, you risked everything. You risked your life to get out of that communist hellhole, the dictator who took over your country. And yet so many people in this country are so willing to give up their liberties and their property to complete strangers in government because of their promises. Let me ask you, Ramirez, what would you tell people like that? What would you warn them? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say they got to be very ignorant to have a neighbor like Castro and seeing what has been happening to the Cubans and seeing the same thing coming to this country. And that's frustrating me because I can see people, maybe not you or me because I'm 50 years old and I might not be the whole horrendous fail because I'd be already dead. But I can imagine my kids being indoctrinated as I was when I was in kindergarten and losing all the property that my family did. Castro, actually, my grandfather, he was a Democrat, and he supported Fidel Castro because he was against Batista. And 72 hours after Fidel Castro took over, came to my grandparents' family home, and they actually confiscated everything. They put them on the middle of the road, and they took away what they built up for a whole life. And actually, my grandparents came from Spain, and they landed in Cuba naked, so they built the sugarcane company with blood and sweat mixed together. And
there were a lot of people who were suckered by Castro and who thought that he would be a small D Democrat, obviously, and middle-class people, wealthy people, a lot of people, and they bought into what he was supposedly standing for, right?
You got to remember change, the word change that Obama used to use. When I hear that word again, I shake. My whole body actually cracked down because that word change was hammering in my head all my life. And change is related to bad to me since I was a kid. It's what I see coming here, Mark, is the same thing that came to Cuba. In a different way, because this is a different nation. We have a different, beautiful constitution. And still, they work every day trying to break the pillar that the Constitution of the United States is, and in order to get their dreams executed. So basically, it's terrible. I have 2 kids, one is 15 years old and the other is 7 years old, because I wait to have my kid in freedom, and whatever I can tell Americans today, they cannot imagine. You have to imagine a country where your neighbor smell what is coming out of your kitchen, and because if you're not allowed in certain week to eat beef, your kitchen cannot smell beef.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not allowed in that week to eat fish, your kitchen cannot smell fish.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody smells, they come and ask you where you got the fish, or where you get the beef, or where you find the food. We didn't sell it. How you get it? Where you get it?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you never heard all that.
Nope.
No, because people sometimes they don't actually. I hear that, and actually I saw people being taken the whole food away from them because they didn't buy from Fidel Castro's groceries, special assigned food. They just went to the field and bought it from a farmer, and they couldn't do that, and then they actually, you could go to jail for doing this. Mm-hmm. So basically, no freedom. The first time in my life that I smell and I taste the flavor of the freedom is when I step in this country, in this beautiful country. Mm-hmm. But by the way, if I ever have a daughter again, I would call my daughter, I would name America.
Beautiful.
An honor to this country, because I tell you, anytime I walk in this country, I try to walk wisely, because I am afraid to damage America.
Well, Ramirez, it's been an honor. I hope you'll call again. I've really appreciate it, and it's very important to hear folks like you who've been to hell and back. So God bless you, my friend. I have to take a break, but I'm glad you're listening, and please call again.
And I also am glad that you're delivering the message, as well as Sean Hannity, Ross Limbaugh, and all of you guys. And if this country listen to you, they will head the right track. If they don't, they will fail sooner or later.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. I'm thrilled you're here. God bless you. So, believe me, there are people out there who want to shut us all down. All of us. But we'll continue to resist in our own way.